What's your first move if you see $1 billion in your bank account? Not let my extended family know. Everyone is your friend when you've got that much money. I remember a neighbor of mine won the lottery about 15 years ago. Won around 10 million. He was a single older hippie dude who more or less kept to himself. It was pretty interesting how he suddenly had all of these friends that wanted to spend time with him and try to convince him to buy a bunch of shit. I remember having a couple of beers with him and his brother, and he was bitching about how most of the people in his life just became fake friends and leeches. I felt bad for him. Step 1 is definitely keep your mouth shut if you can. Step 2, hire a financial manager or a lawyer on the other side of the country to manage your financial portfolio. If anyone asks for money, tell them they'll have to take it up with them in person. Exactly. You get it. I'd spend that little extra just for more peace of mind like this. It's the smart way to say fuck off. Step 2, put your relatives who drive you crazy someplace where they drive other people crazy. I know, totally mean and selfish, but you asked. Happiness is a loving and well-connected family in another state. You're onto me and my nefarious plan. I saw this happen to a classmate. He only won $1,000, but his FB post about it blew up with morons coming out of the woodwork trying to mooch a piece. I saw some bitch who never spoke to him before simply write, "My baby needs a new stroller." That was her entire message to him. This apparently is very common with windfalls like lottery wins. People assume that they are entitled to share in your windfall, some to the point where they will break the law to get what they feel they are entitled to. One Australian family had their son kidnapped and killed because someone felt entitled to the money from their lottery win. Things are different if you are seen to have earned the money, as people feel much less entitled to their fair share of it. It's new.reddit fucking up links for old.reddit. How this spaghetti code of a site manages to stay up is a mystery. I got more than I paid for my Mustang when it was totaled less than 6 months after buying it. I got rear-ended on the highway, and after agreeing to buy my father's truck $4K. Since I got $6K for a Mustang I paid $1K for, he seems to think I only paid $1K for his truck and is saying he'd really like $5K. Like, I was planning to use that extra money to get the tools and parts to work on whatever I bought myself. Sure, I came across that money by luck, but that was more luck of the purchase. I can't find another Mustang in this market for $1K. Tangent, I know, but man, this mentality pisses me off. Have relatives in Ireland. When the parents died, they left the house to the eldest child, which is apparently somewhat of a tradition. The other siblings weren't happy about it, and the property has been tied up in court cases for some time or some shit. They were all very close before there was money involved. Sad, what money does to people. For $1,000? People are desperate. Lmao. See if I can move it from my back account to my bank account. Don't forget to check the front account too. I came here to say move it to my knee account. Lol. Smartness right here. Panic. This is probably the most realistic reaction here. Wondering how it got there and who I'm going to have to kill to keep it there. Jeff Bezos 1v1 deathmatch. With $1 billion on the line, I'm confident I could take Bezos in a fight. This is the moment we find out he's surgically implanted 6 hearts, 2 extra lungs, and added muscles fibers from all the leanest killer animals on the planet. Good, then it'll be a fair fight. $1 billion is nothing to him. I'd be motivated. All you need is a training montage with 80s music, I am partial to Hearts on Fire, and you will be set. Fellow Rocky enjoyer? To both it's life and death though, if it's a proper deathmatch. Given that Bezos is a soulless husk of a man, how much does he really have to live for, anyway? Still advantage to the challenger, I think. Given that he just interested in a company to reverse aging, I would say he has $1 billion to live for. It can't spend itself. That MF's eyes don't even work right, he ain't winning no fight. No hair to grab, advantage, Bezos. You die or you get to keep the billion. Either way, you don't have to work tomorrow. Meet him at Trust, no scope only. Rust pistols only hardcore mode. Bezos would never recognize $1 billion missing. Come on Jeffrey, you can do it. Pave the way, put your back into it. Tell us why, show us how. Look at where you came from, look at you now. Zuckerberg, Gates and Buffett. Amateurs can fucking suck it. Fuck their wives, drink their blood. Come on Jeff, get him. Confirm it's not a mistake. Quit job if not mistake. With that kind of money I would buy my job and fire my boss. I'd buy my boss. Stumble out of bed and tumble to the kitchen, Pour myself a cup of ambition. Yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the street, traffic starts jumping. With folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working, 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Take his red swinging stapler. While you're at it, maybe move him to the basement first. Stop his paychecks without telling him also. The problem ought to solve itself naturally. They'll fix the glitch. Swing line. I'd continue on at my job but have an awful attitude. See how far I can go now that I have fuck you money. Need me to cover a shift? Fuck you. Customer doesn't want to wear a mask and start a fight? Say hello to my fuck you bodyguard as you hit the floor. Come at me, bro. Haha. I've been doing some of this for years. Our contract doesn't pay any extra for overtime. I completely point blank refuse it unless I'm given more money. They were really stuck one time. I said I would do it for triple time. They refused that, but I ended up agreeing double time and did it that one time. I hate doing overtime, so I've asked for triple every time since, and they wouldn't do it, so I just didn't work it. Now everyone on the team refuses overtime until management gets desperate and offer a better rate. It's still not official, but overtime rate is essentially 2x now. I like to think I'm responsible for that. Yeah, one of the things that sucks about salary work is you can quickly be on the hook for a lot of overtime and you basically have nothing you can do about it. In college I worked at a convenience store and I had a double shift. Well, night person at another store couldn't come in, so I took that, thinking I'll keep my hours the rest of the week and make some overtime. Of course, next day manager cuts my hours. And it is how the world works. Oh shit, yeah, know your worth. Workers of the world unite. This was me working retail part-time for the employee discount. Management stopped asking me to cover because they knew they couldn't force me to do anything. If we had disrespectful customers, I was more than happy to politely tell them to fuck off. If I got fired, I didn't care, it was great, and staff loved me. Nice, when you have a backup or full-time job and you are willing to burn that bridge, sure, why not? Also document the hell out of it and screenshot and timestamp everything. A mistake like that could reveal some huge, possibly economy-altering corporate crime. If 1B was made an error just for you, imagine the quadrillion other dollars that must be involved as well. How would it not be a mistake? Are you expecting that kind of money to be coming in soon? Bank error in your favor, collect $1 billion. Nah, that's definitely second place in a beauty contest kind of money. Next day, go to jail. Do not collect $1 billion. Maybe that email I got from a Nigerian prince wasn't a scam after all, and I'm finally getting the money. If you don't question the money to your bank and start using it, you can be sued and must repay everything you spent if they were mistakenly given to you. Strange circumstances happen all the time. Assuming it's legit, put it in whatever collection of safe banks I need to. After that, pay off buy things for a very short list of people. Then, pay somebody to paint the hull, because I'm tired of hearing it. Damn it, hull. Crap. With a $250K FDIC cap, you'd need 4,000 different banks accounts, etc. What do people do when they want to have more than $250K cash? I don't mean, should they invest or buy bonds, CD, etc. If you want to have 1 million completely liquid, would you open 4 accounts or just YOLO and figure the average bank CU isn't going anywhere? You could open separate accounts with different institutions or put it in brokerages accounts which are insured up to $500K. But I would imagine very few people actually have that amount of cash. Most anyone that has that kind of money are going to have most of it invested in assets. You invest in bonds and other assets. Either short-term treasuries of say 3 months, etc. And then if you need liquidity, your bank uses those same bonds as pristine collateral to give you cash. Credit lines are how rich people have liquidity. Buy, borrow, die, baby. Taxes are for other people. God damn it, Tom. When are you going to paint the fucking hallway? Pay off buy things for a very short list of people. Edit, to the people saying to just buy a new car, no. I have $1 billion, I can confront my issues, not run from them finally. Edit, to the people suggesting affordable methods of windshield wipers, please consider that I do not yet have the $1 billion, so I can't afford to do this as of now. My wipers just go off whenever they want to. Sunny day? Wipe. Fresh bug splat? Wipe and smear. It's a good time. Mine turned on by themselves while driving on a nice sunny day. Thought I may have somehow turned them on. Nope. Turned the switch to on and then off. Still on. Got to my destination, turned the car off, still on. Had to pull the fuse so it didn't kill my battery. Turned out to be a bad relay. Same vehicle once dropped the headlight housing onto the street while I was driving. Nah, you don't need this. Yeet. First thing I'd buy with my mysterious windfall of $1 billion would be better transportation. Nothing crazy or even brand new, just better, maybe even get that extended warranty I've heard about. Love the edit. I have $1 billion, I can confront my issues, not run from them finally. I also have a lot of issues lined up for confrontation once $1 billion comes into play in my life. Put some WD-40 on a piece of paper towel and give your blades a good wipe down, it'll help them last a little longer. Or just use a baby wipe. The low amount of alcohol helps give the blade a smooth edge. You can also use vodka. It has a much higher level of alcohol, but it still works if you use it properly, which is to drink it to forget about your windshield problems. WD-40 helps protect the armature against rust too. Instructions unclear. Purchased a 40, got hammered, can't find car, but stole a baby. Well, that's not weirdly specific. 3. Have you not seen that movie? Nobody sounds like a hell of a lot of fun to party with. And I'm a chick at that. Still got the baby. Someone send help. Don't care, I'm old man who enjoys partying regardless of sex of party pals. How long you figure it'll take to get the baby a fake ID? Lol, damn, I feel the pain. Thank you, bro. Just remembered one of my wiper blades is literally unsafe to drive with at this point. Step 1. Withdrawal. Step 2. Disappear. Even with no withdrawal limits, good luck withdrawing $1 billion, lol. Interesting. One thread, a small 0.65% interest would yield $500k mo in interest. I did not verify this. So, if you had a purchase limit of $5k day, that would be $150k mo. Just using the card, you could never spend enough ever to use up the money. If you steal $600, you can just disappear. If you steal $600 million, they will find you, unless they think you're already dead. Put down the gun. For $600 million, you'd better make the death ridiculously convincing. Like this guy was tortured into mincemeat and poured out in front of the central police station, and we had to identify him from the remaining teeth. Well, that's why they rigged the entire roof of the building to blow up in Die Hard. A burning building full of body parts would take a lot of time to sort out. So, one day I saw $5,000 go into my account. Took it out, put it into an account at another bank, closed the account. A month or so later, got a letter from the bank asking for the money back. Ignored it. Got another a couple of months later, ignored it. About 12 months later, got a letter stating that, unless we gave the money back, legal proceedings would start to recover the money. Gave it back, in the meantime, made some money on the interest which they couldn't claim back since it wasn't from their bank. So that's what I do, transfer it to another account and give it back at the last minute and keep the interest. How much did you make from interest on $5,000 over a year? Like $1.20? Yeah, I don't see where the profit lies. 1% interest on $1 billion is $10 million. I'd be okay with that small amount of free money. Edit, yes, 1% quickly is unrealistic for savings. But it's an example. 0.1% is still $1 million. 0.01% is $100k. It's free money very quickly, because a tiny amount of interest on $1 billion is a lot. Hard to put a price on sticking it to the man. Look at me. I'm the tax man now. That's what banks do with our money, so yep. Let them get a taste of it. Anytime a company is holding on to your money deposits, they're usually investing it. Unless there's a rule to have it in escrow or whatever. Even putting money in a CD is better than it sitting in an account after all. Yes, saving accounts are paying like 0.65% now, but that's still $500k month in interest on $1 billion. Still, I suspect the bank would be a bit more prompt about recovery if it's $1 billion than for $5k. This is the only correct answer. I will jerk off before I make any decisions. Ayo guys, there's a dude jerking off to an AT machine. An AT machine? What is that? A machine that makes ATMs? That was the perfect reply. I wish I had an award for you. I got it. And I got you. I swear I'll get you back for this. Them sound like fightin' words per second. I'll get you back soon, you will see. I'ma use my free award now. Also probably holds true if you see $100 in your account. Wait, you guys are getting paid? Yeah, but it literally cost me the full functionality of one of my legs and a lung, so I wouldn't recommend it. That's actually a really good idea. The post-nut clarity will turn your head straight before you make any rash decisions. I sure am glad I jerked off first. Buying a zebra would have been a really bad decision. That's why I got 10. Poor guy would have had no friends. Yeah, I'm horny right now and thought clone my wife and have a three-way. Definitely negative consequences coming down the road from that one. What are you going to do when they both divorce you and each take half? Or when they find out they can have sex with each other and don't need me anymore? I'll get in arguments with both and get no makeup sex and instead get cucked by my wife banging my wife. How did you think this worked? And use $100 bills to clean up? Pay off all my debts immediately. I'd rather owe my bank a $300K overdraft which is completely unsecured, while meanwhile owning my home and car. If you owe the bank $100, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $100 million, that's the bank's problem. Some dude. Someone plays Civ 6. Op really can't fathom the stress people would have seeing $1 billion that isn't their own in their bank accounts. Hence the why though, to people saying they'd tell the bank lol. Nah, banks don't pay you for being honest. Check myself into a psych ward. Have obviously lost my grip. Put it in a more secure account. Let it sit there. Live off the interest. This is what I came here to say. They will eventually realize their mistake and demand the money back. You give it back, but by then you've already earned hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you just made 0.5% back, you make $5 million, pretty insane. Interesting. I hate you for that joke. Pack up and leave the country for a bit, lay low. At that price point, I'm probably a problem for someone that's most easily solved the old-fashioned way. Pick up, leave the country, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all of this to blow over. You won't even need to tell the bank. A transfer of $1 billion to an individual account holder is going to set off all sorts of warning alarms in the system. Hell, a $100,000 transfer probably would do the same. You would definitely be getting a phone call before you probably even notice the new balance. I got a transfer of euros 2K, and the bank flagged it as suspicious. Couldn't access that money for almost 2 weeks. It was my salary. One time Amazon refused to sell me a $900 Cintiq because I guess they thought I was too poor to afford it. I had to fucking call in and prove that yes, I wanted to buy the expensive thing they were selling. I'm sure Op is 15, hence the why though. Op really can't fathom the stress people would have seeing $1 billion that isn't their own in their bank accounts. Might not realize the world isn't a fantasy land where you can't be held accountable for such mistakes if you know about it but don't report it. First move is definitely to call the bank and ask them WTF is going on and how to work out the obvious mistake. You might get a small finder's fee of something, but that's about it really. Banks don't, but the money's owners might. There was a huge fuck up with my account where they deposited somebody's inheritance check in my account when I was 23. $558,000, the dude asked the bank manager to have me come in as soon as I reported it. He gave me the $8,000 in cash so I wouldn't have to pay taxes on it. So I asked what was the favorite thing his relative who left him the money was. Camping and fishing. Bet your ass I went fishing with him that summer. My first though was call my mom. But she would definitely want me to call the bank. She's a good soul. Somewhere without US extradition. I bet you could straight up buy a chunk of Afghanistan from the Taliban. You can rent all of Liechtenstein for $70K night. That's about $26 million a year. If your billion compounds at 4% a year, you can rent the entire country indefinitely and never touch the principal sum. What do you mean by rent all of Liechtenstein? What can you do with that? Declare war on Belgium. That isn't possible anymore for a few years now. But in the 2000s you could rent all hospitality beds in the principality, rights to set up fireworks, chariots for all guests, food and a symbolic key to the city of Vaduz for a party with up to 150 people. The country and the one with the idea became the anti-Nobel Prize in 2003 for marketing it like you could actually rent the country instead of the infrastructure to party and people on the internet who don't fact-check or repeating you can rent Liechtenstein for $70K a day, although you could never do that and the original offer doesn't exist anymore. Count it. I've thought about this most days for the past 2 years to the point where I've made a plan and determined 30 million is the amount I'd need to do everything I ever wanted with the perfect balance of purpose and safety. Having said that, I'd settle for 1 million. If you're reading this, Mackenzie Scott and Bill Gates. I need 2 million to retire now and live comfortably off the interest. I need 3 million to live lavishly. Checks bank account. Nope, not there yet, so I guess I'll keep working. I determined 20M is my number, but I would also take 2M. Not gonna get picky with windfalls. Get a professional accounting firm, then a second one to audit the first one, then hire a law firm to represent my interests. Also hire a second law firm to represent your interests to the law firm that represents your interests. Move it to a bunch of other accounts because banks only back $250,000 lol. Move it offshore and then get on a flight to anywhere but here, then enjoy my retirement on a warm sandy beach somewhere. Okay, but would you still eat Kraft dinner? I would eat Kraft dinner, I'd just eat more. With Dijon ketchups, Of course they would, they'd just eat more. With all kinds of fancy ketchups. Call Ryan. Pay mortgage off. Pay off student loans and then use the remaining 50 cents to buy a pack of top ramen. Actually a really good idea if it's with the same bank. They can hardly complain since the money never left the bank and you may luck out and they don't pull that part back out when they realize their error. Buy Lego. Lots of Lego. It'd probably be shocked, stay in a sitting position for about 5 to 10 minutes, check again, and if it's still there, and if it is ill, question my parents about it or just panic. Buy up as much rainforest land as I can and just let it be. Maybe set up a small cottage with a vegetable farm on the edge of one of the tracts. Pay off student loans and then panic. Probably get pizza. Move it, let it sit in a savings account at new place one day, transfer back, notify originator of mistake. Too many bank accounts? Get that shit offshore ASAP. Get all of my dog's treatments done. Retire instantly. Assuming it's not an error. I'd get a really good lawyer, get the money out of a checking account, FDIC don't insure 1B, and into mutual funds. I'd get a phone number that I only give to my lawyer and have the lawyer do all my bidding for me. Things like go in and quit my job for me. Travel around the world to scout out good places to buy vacation homes. I'd set up a few endowments for organizations that actually do good work. Have a year of nothing but vacation and parties, then I'd spend the rest of my fortune trying to end climate change and save us from ourselves. I'm calling the bank and telling them they've made a critical error. Bank error in your favor. Collect $200. And you must be the monopoly guy. Travel. Start planning how I will donate $950 million. I don't see a point in having that much money and not helping people.